Last time, I talked about how complex video game difficulty can be and ultimately what makes it fair. I suggested that fair but difficult games require you to use a combination of patience, aggression, and practice. Today I'm going to discuss three games that I think nail it: Dead Nation, Resogun, and Super Meat Boy. And in their own way, each of the three prioritize patience, aggression, and practice, respectively. Okay, let's start with Dead Nation, which I think puts slightly more emphasis on patience than aggression or practice, even though it does require a combination of all three. Dead Nation's game mechanics are relatively simple, yet also deceptively conducive to a gameplay experience that's full of depth. Your base weapon is a single-shot rifle with infinite ammo, which can either be fired repeatedly or charged to release a more powerful shot. You also have a number of purchasable weapons, including an SMG, a shotgun, a flamethrower, a missile launcher, etc. Your character can use a close-range melee attack, and also has a rush ability, allowing an instantaneous burst of speed to escape enemies. The combination and balance of all these different mechanics are crucial to succeeding at the game's highest difficulties, and are directly related to how you balance your tactical strategy. Let's talk then about why patience is so important in Dead Nation. As you're often presented with hordes of enemies, charging in is rarely going to be your best bet. Both the melee and rush abilities have a small recharge time which prevents you from spamming them. This is one of the ways in which the game forces you to be patient. You can't simply sprint and hack your way through crowds of enemies. Putting yourself in the middle of them is the surest way to get yourself killed. When you feel the tide beginning to turn against you and begin to suspect that you're on the back foot, it can be really tempting to charge forward. However, charging forward usually makes things a lot worse, because you end up triggering enemies that are waiting further ahead, doubling or tripling the difficulty that you're already facing. Although you can occasionally sprint past enemies to the next checkpoint, or to the end of the level, many areas require you to clear them before you can proceed. For the most part, the best strategy is to sit back, use your ammo wisely, and pick off crowds of zombies instead of running into them head on. However, like many difficult games, it isn't that simple. This is where aggression comes in. The first and possibly most important thing to force you to be aggressive in Dead Nation is the regularity of enemies ambushing you from behind, even if you've cleared the area that you've just come from. Very coincidentally, zombies will often pour out from behind you at the most inopportune moments, when you're already facing a large crowd or a particularly dangerous enemy. This ensures that you're always required to move forward, while trying to also maintain a patient approach. Just as would probably be true of a real zombie apocalypse, once you start to panic, you're fucked. Another factor of the game that heavily encourages aggression is the inclusion of powerful enemies who are themselves very aggressive. Jumpers are huge tank-like enemies that, as their name suggests, can jump large distances and deliver a hammer blow to your health if you don't react quickly enough. Cutters are probably the most intimidating enemies in the game though, and they are huge zombies that stomp towards you and kill you instantly if you don't escape or kill them first. In addition to this, you also have mouth zombies, which use their screams to draw masses of other zombies to your location. When you see or hear a mouth, it's imperative that you take them out as soon as you can, again forcing you to take a more aggressive approach, as you'll often have to mow down groups of zombies to get to them. The most difficult parts of Dead Nation really do require practice though, because you need to create and execute an efficient tactic. One part in particular, which is the hardest in the game in my opinion, takes place in a graveyard. In this section there are 4 mouths in 4 different places, and you need to take them out as quickly as you can. However, the rest of the area is flooded with zombies, some of which can kill you extremely quickly, and it's quite easy to become distracted and lose control when you haven't practiced enough. With practice, the section becomes far easier, and it allows you to begin aggressively and then gradually adopt a more patient tactic as you clear the area. This part specifically offers a great example of why you need patience, aggression, and practice to overcome a game's greatest challenges. As they're made by the same developer, Housemarque, Dead Nation and Resogun have a lot of similarities, and these similarities are echoed in the game's styles of difficulty. Resogun requires patience for many of the same reasons that Dead Nation does. Rushing into hordes of enemies will get you easily killed, for example. Like in Dead Nation, you again have a rush ability, which can this time be used in bursts or can be prolonged for a bigger boost. Unlike Dead Nation, Resogun allows you to use bombs and overdrive, an ability which turns your gun into an unstoppable green ray which destroys any enemy in your path. You have a set number of bombs and, just like the rush ability, overdrive requires recharging. You need to be patient in your use of these, as using them too early will leave you short-changed later, just when you need them most. Although patience is important for completing Resogun, aggression is paramount, for a number of reasons. Like detonation, enemies attack from behind your ship as well as in front, meaning that you can't simply sit back and pick them off. At the beginning of each level you're told to save the last humans, and 2 humans in every level are unlocked by having a certain multiplier level or higher at specific points. After a second or so of not hitting an enemy, or if you're hit, your multiplier will reset to 0. For this reason, it's imperative that you're constantly moving forward and attacking enemies. Your multiplier depends on it, and so may your potential success. Although saving all the humans seems like a novelty or bonus, it can actually be hugely important. With every human you rescue, there's a possibility to get a shield, an extra bomb, or an extra life, all of which can make the difference, especially in the most difficult levels. While your rush ability is charged over time, the overdrive ability is charged by collecting green orbs that enemies drop when they're destroyed, adding yet another incentive to continue charging forward. In the final few levels, practice becomes increasingly important too, as there are often set points where it's better to use your bombs, overdrive and rush to make success a possibility. Practice is even more important in Super Meat Boy, probably more so than the other 2 games discussed. While every single level in the game requires that elusive combination of patience and aggression, the most difficult worlds require practice and practice and practice to a level that almost becomes muscle memory. This is a little bit harder to describe, so I'm going to walk you through it as I play the levels of the Epilogue Light World, the Cotton Alley. Okay, so I'm going to show you the last 10 levels of the Cotton Alley, because they are generally the most difficult and they are probably the best examples of combining patience, aggression and practice. So let's go through it. Okay, so level 11, Train Eater. This is basically, you do have to be quite aggressive here, you have to keep moving forward, but it's basically just jump forward, pull back a little bit, jump forward, pull back, jump forward, pull back all the way. At this point it's just patience, just some quick fast forward movements. This level is actually quite easy, especially once you've practiced a lot. It's basically just patience with little, although obviously there's the aggression because you're being chased by huge blades. This level actually isn't as difficult as it looks. It looks quite difficult. It's actually quite easy. Once you really get these jumps nailed down with practice, it's not bad. You do have to be quite aggressive because this yellow liquid is moving up quite fast and it can kill you easily. Although, as you can see, it's quite easy to get past this. This level actually I found really difficult originally, but once I found a kind of foolproof way to beat it, I haven't died. So this is a great example of a level that became really easy once I had a specific routine. This level, again, this was really difficult, and you actually see here I was gonna exit them up, but this, I actually die here because of my original jump, and you'll see it here again. You actually need to jump, run to the back wall and then jump, so I was being too aggressive the first time and it cost me. Basically I was stuck in a situation that I was never getting out of. And with this, yeah, this is just practice. At that level was a fucking bitch until I figured out how to do it, but once you know how to do it, it's not bad. Same goes for this. This force field mechanic really requires you to be both patient and aggressive, because your natural height with it is going to be right in line with the blade, so you do have to kind of commit, but if you overcommit you'll either go too far down and get crushed, or you'll go too high. This level here looks really difficult, but it's actually not. I really practiced a lot in this, so actually that jump was slightly too low, so I got kind of lucky, but a little bit of patience at the end and we're straight through. This level I actually think I fuck up quite a few times here, and it's a case of being too aggressive, not being patient enough. So you'll see here, and poor timing, poor jumps. Yeah, so I get caught there because some really kind of rushed jumps. I wasn't patient, so you can even see here my movement is very jagged, it's very jarring, it's not smooth, it's not patient. I'm clearly not in the zone. Another rush jump, but then you'll see here every big block I'm landing right at the exact point, so I've kind of hit the groove at this stage. I'm being patient and aggressive, so nice and patient on the way back. making her way. Yeah, there we go. So that's the secret. This level can be a real pain in the ass because of the small blade at the start and the small blade at the end. And it really does force you to be aggressive because of the timed locks. So it can be quite tricky, but I managed to do it the first time. And this level can be a huge pain in the ass purely because it keeps forcing you to change between patience and aggression. So you'll see here early on, I'm really trying to like be aggressive and be really fast paced to try and get myself in the zone and at a good flow. So I'm still going quite fast, and here you have to start being patient. Basically, you're kind of forced into it. So stop, patience, and here I'm being forced into being patient again, which is a problem because, as you'll see coming up, I die because I was required to switch it back on and be aggressive, and it's really difficult in this game to switch back and forth. So that's why this level is so difficult. This level is also so difficult because I died again there because my concentration was gone, and you'll see, yeah, die again because I started rushing because I was being too aggressive. So this level is very difficult too because it's so long and it's so easy to make a mistake. So, and it's actually harder to practice because it is so long, which is a problem because you can't, it's very hard to make this level muscle memory because it's so long, and you'll find yourself doing slightly different things every time you play it. I think I actually end up beating it this time, but as you can see, it's quite easy to die, and it is hard to practice. So I switch it up, and you'll see I've found the perfect balance because I'm jumping at the exact same distance before every single blade from like halfway up. So like same gap, same gap, perfect. So that's it. That's Super Meat Boy, and that's, in my opinion, one of the greatest games at balancing game difficulty, and one of the most difficult games because it requires you to strike such a delicate balance. If you found the video interesting, if you found it informative, give it a like, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so you'll see what I'm up to in the near future. And let me know your thoughts too. I really want to hear what you guys think. I really want to get into some discussions about this and some of these topics because I do find them very interesting, and I'm sure you guys do too. Until next time, go play some games.